How long is your someday list? The book you'll write, the person you'll become, the life you'll finally start living. Someday. We all know our time is finite, yet we live as if it's an infinite resource, squandering our days while waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. The Stoics saw this as the greatest human tragedy. They taught that by confronting the rhythm of life and death, we can unlock the urgency to live fully now. Today, we'll explore how to stop waiting and start living a life of purpose, keeping the rhythm of life. Look back at the past. How many empires have already experienced upheavals? One can also foresee the future, for it will be of exactly the same kind and will not break from the rhythm of what is currently happening. Therefore, it is indifferent whether you observe human life for 40 years or for 10,000 years. For what new thing will you see? Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. Everything is finite, not just people but also companies, kingdoms, religions, and ideas. The Roman Republic lasted for more than 450 years. The Roman Empire, in which Marcus Aurelius was considered one of the 5 good emperors, lived for 500 years. The longest recorded human lifespan is 122 years. The average life expectancy in the United States is just over 78 years. In other countries and in other eras, it has been both longer and shorter. But in the end, we all, as Marcus Aurelius writes, yield to the rhythm of events, in which there is always a final, decisive beat. There is no need to dwell on this fact in detail, but neither should we ignore it. Just a number. Do you complain that you weigh this much and not twice as much? So too that you are to live to this many years and not more. As you are content with how much substance has been allotted to you, so be with time. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. We are all part of this finite rhythm, but it's easy to get obsessed with the specifics of our own lifespan. They say age is just a number, but some people attach special meaning to it. Otherwise, women wouldn't lie to understate their age, and ambitious young men wouldn't overstate it. Wealthy people and those obsessed with their health spend billions of dollars trying to increase their lifespan from 78 years to, preferably, infinity. It doesn't matter how many years we manage to stretch our life. What matters is what fills those years. Seneca formulated it best: life is long, if you know what to do with it. Unfortunately, most people don't know how. They waste the years allotted to them. And only when it becomes too late do they try to compensate for their losses, vainly hoping to squeeze more out of the remaining time. Use today. Use every day. Be content with what has been allotted to you. What should we know by the end? Your end is already near, yet you are still not detached from all that is artificial, still not free from turmoil, still fear harm from without, not filled with goodwill towards all, not understanding that wisdom consists exclusively in just action. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. So the goal is to fill our time with quality, not just quantity. But this work of self-improvement is a lifelong task. Marcus Aurelius wrote many of his reflections in the twilight of his life, when he was already suffering from serious illnesses. That is why the words, "your end is near," are literal. He is speaking to himself about his mortality and impending death. How frightening that must have been. He was aware of the real prospects, and he didn't like what he saw in these final moments. Of course, he had achieved much in life, but his emotions were still a cause of discomfort, pain and disappointment. He knew that his time was running out and that some relief would come from making the right choice. We hope that you have much more time ahead of you, but that is precisely why it is important to pave the way and achieve success while you have the opportunity. We remain unfinished products until the very end, and Marcus Aurelius knew this well. However, the sooner we realize this, the longer we can enjoy the fruits of working on our character. The sooner we can free ourselves from insincerity, anxiety, unfriendliness, and all that is unstoic. A simple way to evaluate your days. Perfection of character is this: to spend every day as if it were the last, without excitement, without sluggishness, without pretense. Marcus Aurelius Meditations. Knowing that this work is never truly finished can be daunting. So how do we measure our progress? The Stoics gave us a simple daily benchmark to strive for. They did not believe that anyone could achieve perfection. The idea of becoming a sage, the highest aspiration of a philosopher, was not realistic. It was simply their Platonic ideal. Nevertheless, every day they began with the hope of getting slightly closer to that line, and there was much benefit in these attempts. Can you live today as if it were your last day? Is it possible to embody fullness or perfection in our character, easily performing good deeds non-stop for 24 hours? Is it even possible to do this for more than a minute? Maybe or maybe not, but for the Stoics it was enough to try to do it. That should be enough for us too. Robust health forever. Indeed, as for the life of the healthy, learn how slaves live, how workers live, how those genuinely engaged in philosophy live, how Socrates lived, he even with a wife and children, how Diogenes, how Cleanthes, who both studied and carried water. If you want this, then you will have it everywhere and you will live with bold confidence. In what? In that in which alone it is possible to be boldly confident, in honesty, in being unhindered, in that which cannot be taken away, that is, in your own free will. Epictetus, Discourses. So we try each day to live as if it were our last, knowing our time, our bodies, and even our empires are finite. It might seem like a fragile existence, but Epictetus reminds us that within all this impermanence, there is one thing that possesses eternal, robust health. As the Stoics said many times, it is dangerous to believe in what does not depend on you. But your own reasoned choice? Well, that is within your power. It is the one thing you can be sure of. It is the only area of health where we will not suddenly be given a terminal diagnosis, except for the one we are all born with. It is the only thing that always remains untouched and never wears out. Only a person can renounce their reasoned choice, but a reasoned choice will never abandon a person. In this passage, Epictetus points out that slaves, workers, and philosophers can live this way. Socrates, Diogenes, and Cleanthes lived this way, both when they had families and when they were struggling students. You can live this way too. Life is short. Its quality is what matters. The work is never finished, but your will is unbreakable. This is the Stoic path to a meaningful life in the face of mortality. It's about trading the anxiety of the future for the urgency of the present, and finding our eternal strength in the one thing no one can take away from us, our reasoned choice. If you are ready to live with this kind of purpose and resilience, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. A heartfelt thank you to our partners for their support, which makes this work possible. Exploring their offerings is a great way to help our community. Let's make the most of the time we have together.